Good morning. So my name is Ken Adams, and I'm working on the Interview with Q video series that was funded in Project Catalyst Fund 5. We're going to cover at the highest level all of the aspects that we can come up with that are most important to introduce our friends and our family, our coworkers and our peers to Project Catalyst, to Cardano, to blockchain in general, and all the major components of that. Without getting into how, we're going to get into why and what each component is. So I haven't spent much time sharing with everybody who is going to be involved in this video series. And that's what I'm hoping this video turns out to be. One, it's going to be a testament to starting and kick off the YouTube algorithm again so that more people get this message, and that the funding that Project Catalyst put forth to make this video series happens gets put out to more people. What I'm doing a little bit special on this video itself is I challenged a majority of the people that I interviewed with a one-sentence question. What is a DAO? Pretty challenging, right? If you've thought about it at all, or if you tried to recognize what it is or reconcile that it's not just 3 words, that there's meaning behind that. So go easy on us. I'm gonna share this little cut and paste snip from everybody that's been involved in the project so far. There's still some other people that are outside of this video itself, but this has also helped me get my chops back and get the algorithm kicking and going. And there we go. So think for a second. What would you answer? What is a DAO? Now let's see what our friends say. What's your definition of a DAO?
My definition of a DAO is a group of people that come together in a decentralized manner to make decisions and change the world in some way. It can be on-chain, it can be off-chain. And I think it's hard because in my mind, there is a strong smart contract on-chain component to DAOs, or it's not a DAO. But I think it can also be argued that you can have a DAO without the technology piece, and arguably the people piece is more important, how to make decisions together.
How would you define a DAO in one sentence?
A community or organization that has a decentralized decision-making and management structure. So what I mean by decentralized is there is no one person who decides anything and everything for everyone in that community and or organization. Instead, everybody essentially has a say, similar to a democracy in a sense, but yeah, in a total blockchain like kind of way.
I would say it's a new way for humans to collaborate without having to necessarily trust each other.
The idea of a DAO is that it generally marries the possibility that blockchain technology provides with the hope and an inspiration for better, more democratic representative governance of the companies and institutions that really manage our lives, so that instead of having external, independent, unaccountable actors making the decisions, it's a democratic community of the participants in the institutions that decide how they're run.
Felix, in one sentence, what is your definition of a DAO?
DAO is a technical driven reinterpretation of religion.
A technical reinterpretation of religion.
Yes.
So for me, a DAO is basically when power over some sort of resource is controlled by a decentralized group of people.
So a DAO to me is an approach where distributed decision making means that decisions are made where there's hopefully very little concentration of power around the decisions that are taking place, and that they get executed on so that an outcome can come of it that ultimately has been decided upon by the process of distributed decision making.
A DAO is a single-edged Chinese sword.
Give me a second. You just blew my mind, and I don't even know where to go with it.
No, I'm messing with you. As formally understood. Let me start over with the real answer. So when we talk about DAOs and we talk about autonomous organizations, in the classical definition that's emerged over the last few years, that autonomy refers to machines. Okay. And I reject that definition, straightforward. I don't think a group of people can be organized with only input from machines. And I would love to see a world where DAO really does emphasize the autonomy of individual people to get stuff done, to live the best life they can. But it's going to take some really hard work to get there.
So for me, it's we're all individual entities. We're all operating, doing our own thing together for a common good. And that's what I believe a DAO, whatever the DAO is, should help achieve that.
Okay.
What a DAO is it's a community-owned automated business. And that can be as complicated as you want. It could be an individual business process. Like all the business does is it has a look at this and then it does something based on that, you know, but it's controlled by the community. So there isn't a CEO, there isn't the hedge fund manager, you know, anything like that. Instead, there's everyone votes on decisions that are made for that business to do, whether it's adjusting its parameters or whether it's doing something else, you know. And really it's just, it's a community-owned automatic process of some kind.
Well, that's a fun thought experiment for me. I still haven't come up with my version of what a one sentence, what is a DAO is. And maybe it's not fair that I didn't answer it myself, but I put that in front of everyone else. But you can see that there's a lot of perspectives. There's a lot. This community is huge. This community is global. And that's part of the appeal for me and why I'm in this space. So I look forward to putting forward more teaser videos, but really looking forward to getting the core components and the main body of videos out to you all. Please ask questions, share in the comments, write it down, right? What is your one sentence version of what is a DAO? I'll talk to you all later. Bye.